So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for coming today. We are part of Lloyds Banking Group, and I have a few of my colleagues here from different areas of the organisation to give you their insights and their personal journey. They're all actually part of our apprenticeship. Can you hear me? Awesome. So they're all part of our apprenticeship program, and I think it's best actually for them to share their personal journey and their experience. I would like this to be a two-way conversation, so I would encourage you, if you can, to ask questions. Raise your hands, stand up, but please, if you can ask questions, prompt the guys, but we want this as a two-way communication as opposed to slides, question and answer. Yeah? So if we start with, start with Lewis.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at the back? I see you over there. So I'm Louis, I'm 21. I started on the Apprentice audit scheme for Lloyds. We were the first year to ever do the program 3 years ago. So I left school at 18, got my A-levels, I've done maths, economics and politics. I got A, B, B, if you're interested. I think the bar to get in was BCC. So I started on the scheme. I was interested in maths, economics and banking really. I wanted to earn a lot of money. That was originally the plan. I always thought banking was the way to go. I loved the idea of working in the city. I thought it was cool. I'd watched Suits. I loved Harvey Specter, if any of you have seen that. So I wanted to wear a suit and kind of be cool. That isn't really what it's particularly like, to be honest. It's different, but in a way that I still enjoy. So the scheme is 4 years long. I do 4 days in the office and 1 day online at university. I do a master's degree at Birmingham City University in internal auditing, and also gain a qualification called CIA, which is Chartered Internal Auditor, and CMIIA, which I don't exactly know what it stands for, but I think it's good. I also spend 4 days a week in the office. As I said, I've been with the bank for 3 years now, so we rotate around the audit function. So I've worked in financial crime audit, I've worked in treasury audit, commercial banking audit, and also strategic change audit. So as many, I'm sure the other people have spoken to you about, the main bonus I've had with my apprenticeship is that I've gained a load of knowledge around the bank as a whole. So when I finish my apprenticeship, hopefully in a year and a half's time, an employer can look at me and say, wow, he's got all this knowledge, we'll have him, we'll take him. And that would be my main selling point to you guys, would be, wow, like you can pick up all this knowledge in 4 years and rotate around a load of different teams and pick up different areas of the business that no one else in the bank is going to know. And then when you go forward into your career, you can go down so many different avenues and take that forward. But the bank is a good place to work. I don't think we're here to sell you the bank by any means. It's an enjoyable place to work. It's a good culture, and I've been given the opportunity to learn and pick up a lot of knowledge as I've gone on. But I'll leave some of it open-ended if you've got any questions for me, and I'll pass on to Eamon.
Thanks, Louis. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Perfect. So I'm Eamon, and I'm actually on the same scheme as Louis on the Audit Apprenticeship Programme, but my journey is slightly different. So I'm 22, and I left school in 2018. Did my A-levels in economics, maths, and computer science, and I was unsure about what I wanted to do. So I had my parents saying to me, let's go to university and give that a go. Did a foundation degree at Brunel University, and while I was there, I learnt lots, but I don't think it was really worth it, personally for me, for the degree I chose. And I chose to do accounting and finance. I then looked at the apprenticeship pathways and saw what an apprenticeship can offer, and I thought it's best of both worlds, right? You can learn and you can earn at the same time, and for me that was the perfect package for me to go and pursue an apprenticeship pathway. So I left Brunel and applied for Lloyds and a handful of other ones, and the reason why I chose Lloyds was because of the culture of the organisation, the opportunities you have to grow, and definitely for me I think audit is a great starting point, only because you get a broad experience and a broad exposure to different areas of the bank. There's IT, cyber, there's finance, there's group legal, there's climate risk, and there's so many different areas of the bank that you wouldn't really imagine a bank might have. So for me, that exposure has been really valuable. and that's how I've started off my apprenticeship journey. And like Louis mentioned, I've got 1.5 years more left for the apprenticeship program. I'm also doing a master's in internal audit with Birmingham City University, and we are going to be fully chartered internal auditors at the end of it. So we are all getting professional qualifications along the way that do align to your day-to-day role, which you wouldn't really expect if you go to university, because it's quite broad and it can lead to many endless opportunities. So now I'll hand over to Amanda.
Okay, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Amanda. I'm a data analyst apprentice at Lloyds. I am actually a little bit different than these two over here because I actually went to university. I have a 4-year degree in literature, which I loved every minute of. And I worked in the field for a couple of years in education, and I loved that as well. But halfway through the pandemic, I kind of decided I wanted to do something a little bit differently and picked up a few skills in computer science just to try it out, see if I liked it, did a little work experience, and I decided I actually loved it more than literature, which I didn't ever think I would say because I loved it so much. When I was looking for jobs related to my work experience, I kind of was throwing my CV out there at anything that would stick and see sort of what came out of the woodwork. And I was lucky enough actually to get an interview at Lloyds. And the more I spoke to people at Lloyds, the more I realized that this is a place that I can really grow and I can really learn. And that was the most important thing to me anyway. I'm a level 4 data analyst apprentice, so I'm not on a university scheme. It's kind of an A-level qualification, but I'm more interested in the work experience that I'm getting than the qualification at the end. The work experience is invaluable because it's I'm in a team that's really supportive. If I'm fumbling over something, I can call anybody at any time and they'll help me through it, give me a little bit of grace as well with deadlines, and they're like, oh, okay, you're an apprentice, so we'll give you more time, which when you're learning is really, really important to have a team that's really understanding. So as far as the apprenticeship goes, we have 8 hours a week at work that is related to the apprenticeship, and that's in conjunction with five-day courses, and you go on site and you learn with your other apprentices that can be from other parts of the bank or other companies in general, and that's been really great as well to do some networking and learn what other people get up to in other parts of the bank. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey. I'm definitely here to tell you that you don't have to have an apprenticeship right out of A-levels or even go to university to kind of get where I am. Everybody's apprenticeship journey is completely different, but I definitely encourage you to take a look and consider an apprenticeship as part of your career aspirations.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I love the fact that we have such a wide range of options and routes. Some people that have gone straight into an apprenticeship, some people that have started a degree, some people have completed one, and it goes to show there is no one-way route to get into where you want to be, and that's what's really important. But enough about me talking. I would like you guys to kind of get involved. Do you guys have any questions for myself, whether it's on the recruiting side or any of our apprenticeships guys here on the floor? Any questions at all? Amazing. I am going to come in. I'm going to be jack of all trades. Do you mind speaking on the mic for us so everyone can hear? Oh, amazing. Do you want to do an introduction of your name and then question?
Okay. I'm Will, and when do applications open for the apprenticeship?
Thank you so much. So I can answer that question. In terms of our opportunities, we are currently closed for most of the roles. We will be opening in autumn for the next season. So that's around September, October period. So if you feel free, when you come to our stand, which is literally round the corner on the right-hand side, register on our iPad to register your interest, and we will let you know as soon as we open, and then you'll be first at hand to kind of get there in terms of the application. So good luck. Any other questions from anyone else? I'll be there doing some calorie burning today. Would you like to do an introduction and ask your question?
Hi, I just wanted to know what were the entry requirements.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the stage. So what the entry requirements are. So it really, first of all, I'm going to get all of our speakers to actually speak about their kind of qualification, their apprenticeship. But it's worth noting a lot of them, they range depending on which one you want to do. But I will pass it over to, who should I pass it over to? Yeah, and then you do one. That's what I did.
So our apprenticeship is BCC. Obviously, I've been speaking to people all day about apprenticeships, and about 50 people have asked me what are the entry requirements for. And I think if you're all here and you're in year 12 or year 13, I'd like to think most apprenticeships now are about 3 Cs, and I think you can probably all get that. It's not like it's hard, but it's not crazy hard. And even if not, if you're doing BTECs or whatever, if you get like 90 UCAS points, you'll be fine. My advice to you all would be, it's not so much about what grades you've got, it's around sort of the transferable skills that you have and what you can bring to the table when you come into an interview. So I'd like to think you can all get 3 Cs, but we as a company are more interested in, okay, cool, this guy's got 3 Cs, but is he interested to learn? Does he ask questions when he turns up for an interview? Is he passionate about what he's doing? Does he know what he's applied for? Does he actually done some research before he walked in the room? So I'd be less worried about your grades, although you should try and meet the requirements, but they're not that hard. You should be more worried about what skills you picked up at school or in other experiences. Do not have to be banking related in any way, shape or form to help you in an interview and to help you push what grades you do have and impress the interviewer. That'd be my opinion.
Nicely put there. Thank you so much. Before we go to more questions in the on the kind of, I guess, floor, it actually leads me on to the kind of soft skills. It's really important to reiterate that, because we understand that you don't have a lot of experience or won't have experience at all, and that's absolutely fine. We are there to train you and develop you, and that's the most important part. It's all about what you can bring into the organization, and there might be some soft skills you can bring. And that leads on to my question. In terms of your roles, all of our speakers, what would you say is the most important kind of soft skills to have, or what have you developed in your role? And that could be when you started or even when you are in your current role now. Should we go to Amanda first?
I definitely think the most important soft skill is willingness to learn and resourcefulness. So a lot of information is going to be thrown your way, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming. But if you're excited and you're motivated to learn, and you're willing to ask a lot of questions and sort of look into things yourself, you're already most of the way to doing really well on your apprenticeship.
Yep, so for me, the biggest skill I think I've developed is confidence. I never used to speak up when I joined. I was, I think, the most quietest out of my cohort, and that's the feedback that I got. And I was told to speak up and don't be afraid to ask questions. But I always thought in my head that my question might be a stupid question, but it really, no question is a stupid question. So you should definitely feel open and as open as possible to ask any questions you might have, because no question is a stupid question. That's what I've learned since joining Lloyds.
So I would pick 3. So my first one would be confidence, which is the same as Eamon. I've become a lot more confident since I started my job. Not even to the point at work, I'd say more in my social life as well. Like friends and family at home have said to me ever since I started that I'm much more confident speaking and more outspoken. My other one would be, probably my main one would be time management. Apprenticeships are hard to manage, right? So 80% at work, 20% 8% at work, 20% doing off-the-job stuff. It's hard to manage that, and also it's hard to meet work's deadlines. It's not anything you'd have experienced at school before. I know you do like homework, stuff like that, and it's like a set day. It was really different having someone ring you at 9 in the morning and say, can you get me something by lunch? And it's just a whole different way of doing things. And lastly, I would agree with the point about being inquisitive. An openness to learn. I thought when I left school that I was done learning and I'd just do a job and it'd be fine. That couldn't be further from the truth. You don't stop learning when you go to work. That's when your learning really starts. It's a bit cringy, but you really do start learning more and more at work. It's important to develop and push yourself and grow in your career by learning. And it probably took me about a year to realise that. So I'm telling you now. So there you go.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. And should we go back to you guys for questions? Any other questions for us to answer? feel free to put your hands up or shout out. But while we are waiting for questions here, I have another one, if I could be selfish. What one advice would you give to your younger self when you were once in this position, year 11, year 12? I think some people are in year 13 as well. What one advice would you give to yourself, knowing what you know now? Should we go to Eamon first? Yeah.
So one piece of advice that I would give to my younger self, and I would encourage you all to take away, is take every opportunity that you get. So you're at this apprenticeship fair and you've got a number of employers to speak to. Make the most of it and find out more about the possible options you have that you could pursue after your education. Because by taking the opportunities, that will open the doors. And if you don't do your research, then you won't really know what's out there. And this is the day for you to go and explore. So definitely do make sure you avail this opportunity. I'll now pass over to Amanda.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest thing I would tell my younger self is to believe in myself a little bit more. I think that it's really easy when you're young and you don't really have a lot of experience to believe, there's no way I can do that. That's too hard. It's just, no, not done it before, too hard, can't do it. And you'd actually be surprised the amazing things that you can do if you put your mind to it. Even if it seems really hard, even if you fail a bunch of times, even if someone else tells you you can't do it, don't listen to them because you totally can. So that's definitely my piece of advice.
So I think my one piece of advice would be to myself, would probably be you're not as clever as you think you are. I think when I was 18, I left school. I thought I was a genius, and I'd walk into work and it'd be a walk in the park. There are a lot more clever people out there in the world than I realised, and there's a lot more skills that are relevant than just your academic skills, which obviously links back to what I said earlier about grades aren't the be-all and end-all. But when I went to work, I think I was humbled slightly by having to relearn a whole new group of skills that I'd never learned before, and it kind of brought me back to square one, and I had to start really asking questions and trying harder to pick up what I was learning. So that would be my thing.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. So what is one thing you thought, what's one misconception you had working within Lloyds or working within a bank? I'm going to pass it over to Eamon first, and then we'll...
Yeah, so one common misassumption actually I had about the bank was a bank only has finance-related roles, and that is a lie, because there's cybersecurity roles, there's software engineering, there's roles in legal. You can become an economist for Lloyds Banking Group and predict, what maybe the future of Lloyds might look like. You can work in, you can be a business support manager for one of the executive members of the board. So there's endless opportunities available, and it's not all about roles that are branch. And I think that was one of the assumptions that I had about Lloyds, that I'll just be purely in a finance-orientated role, when in fact I could go into an IT-related role or a customer-facing role. So there's endless opportunities available that I've now realised. I'll pass over to Louis.
I would say that mine would be that if I'd done an apprenticeship and I worked in banking, I'd be working 80-hour weeks, and that I wouldn't have any time to myself, and all my friends who went to uni were going to have this great time, and I was going to miss out because I wanted to do a job. I don't work 80-hour weeks, thankfully. I have plenty of time to myself. I still enjoy my life somewhat, and I think that the misconceptions about banking may be true in some places, but at Lloyds, there's an advocacy for work-life balance and enjoying your life somewhat despite working hard.
Awesome. I think I'm going to answer my own question before I go to Amanda. I've got two personally, and for me, one of them is around diversity, and it's really important. As you can see, I'm a black female, and just making sure that I see people or I work with people that look like me, I can recognize and I can resonate with their journey, their experiences, and definitely Lloyds offer that. whether it's the network, the internal diversity network they have in an organization. So there's female, there's ethnicity, there's disability, there's kind of, I guess, the the LGBTQ plus pride network as well. So you can always go to them in terms of informal mentorship and kind of events, etc. And as well as the wider team as well, we have colleagues that are doing apprenticeship, some of them that are working kind of part-time or kind of working condensed hours as well. So it's really important. You always think a bank, everyone's working 90, 80 hours, like Lewis said, a week, but that is not the case. And that's really important. And the second piece is around the criteria, whether it's an apprenticeship, an undergraduate internship, or a graduate scheme. The degree requirements are not as low as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be AAA stars or whatever it is. It's actually, and I think Lewis mentioned, it's reasonable. And if you put your head down and study, you will be able to achieve it. It's not unrealistic. And I think it's really important to just know that there are opportunities out there, and it does not necessarily mean that you're going to be hindered because of maybe your degree or your kind of, I guess, your grades, should I say. So just really important. And then I'm going to pass it to Amanda now.
That was great. I definitely think this is also in line with the things that I thought before working for a bank. No, you haven't. I think I can agree with everybody up here that I was a little concerned that joining a bank or even any big corporation would mean I'd have to wear a suit and be really serious, and that there wouldn't be a lot of women in the technical sector. And I was really actually quite concerned about that. But working at Lloyds the last year and a bit, I've learned that within a big corporation, you have people of all walks of life, people that have all types of interests, and I think there's something for everyone, which I didn't expect, and I am very pleased to have found. So there you go.
Amazing. I think that is a nice way to close. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for all of our speakers that are here on the panel, and also we've got some guys that's still on the booth. And thank you all for you guys for being here today. It's really important to recognize apprenticeship is a route, an option A, as opposed to people may think, oh, I didn't do well in my grade, so I'm going to consider it as a second option. You should consider it as a first option, and just try and utilize this opportunity here and speak to a lot of organizations, talk about their experience and share their learns as well, because it's going to be useful for you. But I just wanted to leave you guys here today and just encourage you to come to our booth and register your interest, and then we can let you know once we open. Yeah, thank you very much and take care. Bye.